What's up, everybody? Jordan Stewart here from Vover. Thanks so much for tapping into the Vover Original Show. Just a reminder that if you want to drop your opinions about the episode or respond to the host and guests with your voice, go and download the Vover app wherever you get your apps. Vover, voice over everything. Enjoyed the show.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to this Friday edition of the Vover Sports Card Show. I am your host, Frank Hrelja, to give you a legend football card play, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, who, when I think you compare his card prices to some modern quarterbacks, I think it looks like an amazing deal. And once we're done with that, I want to tell you a basketball player that you should be considering selling right now, because I think the excitement is way too high, given the fact that he just got moved in free agency. Let's talk some football, because we can sense every single day people getting more excited for the season, which is amazing. I'm incredibly stoked for what's to come this football season. And when we're looking at football cards of quarterbacks and running backs, star wide receivers, it makes sense that a lot of these guys are going up in price right now, and that's where a lot of the demand is. And I love investing in modern players. I think there's so much value in finding guys right before they pop, before they perform very well. But at the exact same time, the value proposition has to be there, because you should have the hope that if you hold these cards long-term of these superstars, that they'll appreciate and get to the level of what the superstar all-time great prices are, giving you a reason to buy in now. And if you look at someone like Josh Allen, his base Prism rookie card PSA 9 is selling for about $200. But then when I'm looking at the exact same time and seeing someone like Peyton Manning, his Topps Finest rookie card PSA 10 is only selling for $200. We look at his iconic Topps Chrome rookie card PSA 9, it's selling for $370 right now. The PSA 10 of that Topps Chrome rookie card is selling for about $1,600 right now. For reference, that was once a $5,000 card, and it's about the cheapest it's been in the last 12 months. And I think we're looking at Peyton Manning as a player, comparing it to Josh Allen. What is the percent chance that Josh Allen becomes Peyton Manning? If you want to flip this Josh Allen card in the short term, you're going to have buyers. I'm sure you'll do well. But at the exact same time, if we're just talking about base Prism Josh Allen stuff, I think if we're looking at where the prices of Peyton Manning is, there's really no argument for why you should hold that Josh Allen card long term, because best case scenario, where it's probably a 1% chance that Josh Allen has the career that Peyton Manning had, and that isn't an exaggeration. I understand Josh Allen's one of the best young quarterbacks in football. He's destined to be a star. But understand that Peyton Manning was a 5-time league MVP, 14 Pro Bowls, 7-time All-Pro, 2 Super Bowl titles. And I think that there's a good argument to be made that he's the third best quarterback of all time, right behind Brady and Joe Montana. So when I love investing in modern players, there's sometimes when if I'm seeing a GOAT's card prices not getting the respect that it deserves, I'm going to be buying that guy, because at the end of the day, Peyton Manning can't get hurt. Legacy is set in stone, and 50 years from now, he's still going to be talked about as one of the best players in league history. So when I'm looking at his card prices, when I just said his Topps Chrome rookie card PSA 10 is selling for $1,600 right now, it was a $5,000 card. I'm not saying it's definitely going to go back to what it was, but if we're talking about these modern football cards going up, I definitely think that the GOATs are going to get some respect. And that's why I talked about Lawrence Taylor on Wednesday, because when we think about basketball, we see Jordan card sales and Kobe doing very well, and all these legends continue to command a high price. I think it's important to apply the same principles to football that we do basketball and baseball, because especially in football, these active modern players get injured at a higher rate. They have shorter careers. So you have to be very careful investing big money in football cards, particularly running backs, wide receivers, even quarterbacks. If they have a bad season, they're on a tight leash and they could be out of a situation super quickly. And I love investing in modern guys. I love guys like Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. I think a lot of value could be had in their cards right now, especially if you're looking at the right stuff. But if you're telling me I could buy Peyton Manning cards today for a fraction of what they were at the start of last season and a fraction of what they were at the peak of the football playoffs this year, I'm going to buy those cards all day long, because I see a lot of upside in the situation. When we see the card market of a particular sport start to go up with anticipation of the season happening or the postseason coming around, it's usually pretty predictable in the order of which cards go up. It tends to be modern superstars going up first, particularly their flagship rookie cards, PSA 10. Then we see people get priced out of their base stuff, and then they find parallels and better opportunities elsewhere. And then once those cards get too expensive, people look at the legends and say, I'm going to start buying them because they're a fraction of the price relative to these modern guys. And it's a cycle that happens. So when we're looking at football cards right now, and we see the base flagship stuff going up for a lot of these quarterbacks and skill position players, and we're starting to see parallels, and we're seeing big sales across the board for football cards, we haven't really seen it yet for legends. Tom Brady has had some big sales over the last couple of weeks, but besides him, if we're talking about guys like Elway, we're talking about guys like LT, who I discussed, Peyton Manning, I think that there's opportunity right now just because people are going to start to get priced out of these modern players, and you're going to be looking saying, am I really going to drop $4,000 or $5,000 on this Lamar Jackson or Daniel Jones card right now? Or should I grab a really cool Peyton Manning card where you don't have to ever question production? His legacy is set. You don't have to worry about him being a bust. You know how many Super Bowls he won. You know what he did in the league. And when we see stuff like the Pat Mahomes 1-of-1 NTRPA a couple weeks ago selling for over $4 million, I think you look at a card sale like that and ask, what is the percent chance that Patrick Mahomes has the career that Peyton Manning had? And there's a lot of people that believe Mahomes is going to be a top 3 to 5 quarterback of all time, and I completely respect that. I don't doubt it for a second. But at the exact same time, it's going to cause people to start to look at Peyton Manning cards saying his card prices aren't even close to what people were paying for Mahomes. And in return, I think we're going to start seeing some card prices go up for Peyton Manning. I think if we're looking at his card prices today, I think it's a floor relative to what we're going to see over the next few months. And I would be looking at his stuff now before we get closer to the season and more people start to realize how much of a value play he is right now. Now, moving off of football, I want to talk about the NBA because we've obviously seen tons of moves happening in free agency. But there's one move in particular that people are giving a lot of attention to and people were really hyping up this team. And I don't really see why. There are a lot of people right now who are hyping up the Chicago Bulls and acting like they're going to be a top couple team in the East. And I think that is a wild overstatement. Multiple things can be true at once. The Bulls got significantly better and they will 100% be a playoff team. The Bulls added DeMar DeRozan. The Bulls added Caruso. The Bulls added Lonzo Ball. Pair that alongside Zach LaVine, who's turned into a true star. Patrick Williams is a promising second-year guy. And you have Vucevic that you got at the trade deadline. The Bulls are going to be a solid team. But I'm watching some of these sports shows on TV, and they're having long, heated discussions on if they think that the Bulls could compete with the Bucks, the 76ers, or the Nets next season. And I think that is absolute insanity. When we talk about the Brooklyn Nets, it's a team that has Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, probably the 3 best isolation scorers in the entire league, a team who was very close to getting to the NBA Finals this year. Or you talk about the Bucks, a team with Giannis, a guy who's on the path to being a top 15 player of all time. And you're telling me that the Bulls are going to be able to compete with that? I think that's insanity. I think people's expectations are way too high. Billy Donovan's a good coach. The culture being set in Chicago is good right now. I think Patrick Williams has the chance to be really good. But this team has zero chance at genuinely winning the East or competing for a title. If we're going to compare them to another team, it should be something like the Knicks. So I think people's expectations are way too high for the Chicago Bulls. So the question lies, how does this affect the sports card market? If we look at Lonzo Ball, I think if you bought into Lonzo Ball cards over the last couple of years and you're kicking yourself that you wasted a lot of money, I think you're going to have a chance to be able to recoup some cash over these next few months. And I think you should be taking this opportunity to sell. I would not be buying Lonzo Ball cards. I wouldn't even be holding Lonzo Ball cards because the expectations are just too high. And all credit to Lonzo Ball for improving his three-point shooting. If we look at where he was as a rookie shooting 30% from three to then last season shooting 38%, that's a massive improvement. And I have all respect in the world to the kid. But if we're looking at his stats, he still only averaged 15 and 6 this season. The Pelicans really underperformed. It felt like Zion Williamson had absolutely zero help on that roster. It's a good addition for the Bulls. You're going to have Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball who are capable of shooting threes, which is going to open up the floor for DeMar DeRozan to play in the mid-range. I think he's going to have a good season. Vucevic is a good player, and I think that the Bulls can really be a 5 or 6 seed in the East, but I don't think that they're going to be better than that. I think the Nets are very good. I think the Bucks are very good. As much hate as there is on Philly right now, they'll still be competitive. Joel Embiid's one of the best players in the league. Daryl Morey's a really good basketball mind. I'm confident that they're going to figure it out. You then have teams like the Hawks that are coming back. You have teams like the Knicks. You have the Miami Heat who just added Kyle Lowry, bringing back Oladipo. They have a good squad. I just think that if you're buying Lonzo Ball cards or holding his cards, expecting some amazing Chicago Bulls season, I think you're in for a disappointment. So what you should be doing is between today and the start of the NBA season, you should be considering selling some of your Lonzo cards. I'm seeing people pay $1,000 plus for some of his stuff still. And his market is on the rise currently. His base Prism rookie card PSA 10 was $70 just like 3 weeks ago. Now it's selling for $120. I would move off of his cards with this price increase happening because I think it's going to be easy to sell his cards over the next few months when you have people speculating, when you have people getting excited, painting the narrative that the Bulls could be some amazing team. You should be selling that. It'll be easy to move the cards and you can put that money into really good players because I think there's so many good opportunities right now. So I appreciate you listening to this Friday edition of the Vover Sports Card Show. I am your host, Frank Hrelja, and I'll be back again on Monday.